everybody, welcome back to another episode of Deep Dive. I'm Diana Chen, and I'm here with Isaiah Jackson. He's our influencer of the month for the month of June 2021. This is our third video in our series, and if you missed our first two, make sure you go back and watch them. The first one was on our channel, and the second one was on the Gentlemen of Crypto YouTube channel. Make sure you go there and check out their videos. So today we are going to be talking about how we can fight economic injustice with blockchain technology. This is a topic that I'm super passionate about, and especially during this time. Last weekend was June 19th, Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day, Liberation Day, Jubilee Day. And so Isaiah is joining me today to talk a little bit more about what that signifies and how we can use blockchain technology to start fighting economic injustice and start building wealth for all communities. So thank you, Isaiah, so much for joining me again.
Oh yeah, glad to be back.
Awesome. So why don't you start just by telling people who maybe aren't familiar? I think everybody has heard of Juneteenth, but not everybody knows exactly the backstory behind it. So why don't you talk a little bit more about that, and then how, even though that was a day of celebration for the end of slavery, but, some of the lasting effects of that are still seen today. And so maybe give people a recap of what some of those most glaring issues are where Black people are still being discriminated against today.
Oh yes. So Juneteenth is a celebration of the freedom of slaves, so to say. And one of the things that gets misconstrued in history is that freedom isn't really free. And a lot of the slaves that were free were unable to get jobs. They were unable to get housing. So from that point, the slavery part of it was the chattel slavery, but it was not economic slavery. You still had to basically work in an environment for little to no pay. And oftentimes, if you couldn't get a job, there were vagrancy laws in place that would arrest you. So a business, they wouldn't hire you, but they would let you get arrested, and they would just lease you out from the sheriff's office to pay you less. So that's economic slavery. And we have the same thing today, not just in the Black community, but overall in America. Economic slavery, where you're working harder to get less. And that is the opposite of how good money should work. And I think some of the solutions going forward are that in order to get rid of economic slavery is we have to disconnect from the current money system. The fiat money system that we use, literally is built for you to be on the hamster wheel. You're constantly working and then you look up and you're like, because of inflation, I work more than my grandparents, but I have less. And if you haven't noticed that, prices have gone up. The price of commodities and things have gone up. So to get rid of that economic slavery, I think Bitcoin and cryptocurrency helps with that as a savings technology to get you off the hamster wheel, but also establishing yourself economically in a new money system gets you ahead, so to say, so that you can get off that economic hamster wheel, so to say, and not be a debt slave like most people are today. Unfortunately, a lot of the work that people do today is rooted in their mindset that if I work hard, I can, get to this goal, which is true in some aspects. But when you have random people making decisions about inflation and money printing to take away the value of your dollar, they're literally robbing you without a gun. And the slavery from before is no different than today. It's just economic. And I think the solution there is to have a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency solution and to use blockchain technology to your advantage to remove yourself from that old system, because it's still going today. The fiat system is what established it before, the greed of wanting to get money. We have to just move away from it in 2021.
Yeah, 100%. And then can you dive a little bit deeper and give us specific examples of how blockchain technology can help alleviate economic injustice, maybe in certain specific categories, like some that come to the top of my head: employment, housing, education. Maybe talk specifically about several of those areas and how we can really utilize blockchain technology in good ways to help build equality.
Oh yeah. So one of the biggest ways I've seen, especially in the Black community, is voting. Voting is a big aspect that people discuss, but having blockchain results that are verified that can be seen later is very touchy, because a lot of politicians, they do what they can to get into office, but for the Black community, that has not boded well. Also too, I've seen a lot of solutions in supply chain. Going forward in the future, we just saw a hack with 20% of the meat gone, and we saw a hack with the Colonial Pipeline. Blockchains that are established have the ability to thwart those attacks and continue to work throughout time. So supply chain issues can be solved. And just from a money system standpoint, the Bitcoin blockchain, the ability to establish your wealth, and it's unconfiscatable. that specifically takes away the ability for somebody to take away what you've earned. And of course, using the technology to build businesses can definitely help as well. And I think getting ahead economically is immersing yourself in the space, right? Not just Bitcoin blockchain technology, but like we discussed before, DeFi and other things as well. And I think our community should take advantage today.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Deep Dive. I hope everybody learned something new, and make sure you stay tuned next week for our fourth and final video in this series. It will be posted on the Gentleman of Crypto YouTube channel. So make sure you go ahead and take a look over there, but we'll be discussing actionable steps for people to take today to start building financial freedom with crypto. So thanks again, Isaiah, for joining me, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.